Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Connected Conversations. I am Martina Mazdrova. I am your host, and I stand as the source of the transformed world. And what I mean by this is I believe that we create, we source, we generate everything that happens in our lives through our ways of being, through how we feel, and making the shifts we want, changes we want to see in our lives. It comes from within us, and that's the intention of the Connected Conversations, really creating connections for you with the people who might be the missing link for you to have an aha moment, to move forwards in your life, wherever you are, to give you the piece of information, or maybe to open space for you to see things in a little bit different way, opening new possibilities for you. And today, I am so excited to welcome Amy Walker, or the Dietista, in our Connected Conversations. So, Amy, thank you so much for joining us, and introduce yourself, please. And how did you become the Dietista?
Thank you so much for having me, Martina, and thank you for the lovely introduction. My name is Amy Walker. I'm known as Dietista. I am a gut health nutritionist. I've been a nutritionist for about 14-ish years, so quite a long time. And I was always really quite healthy and sporty as a kid. So I was banging into my sport when I was at school. Not so academic, but like put me on a track, and I was like a whippet. So I've always been interested in like sport and health, and my lifestyle's always been pretty healthy. And then when I was in my early 20s, doing things that early 20-year-olds do, go out partying quite a lot because you can then.
Yes,
so,
I hear you.
yeah, exactly. So, and my dad became really ill. So, and I was there. He had a heart attack, and I was there. Long story short, my mum come into my room, still living at my parents' house, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I think I was watching. I can't remember if it was Snatch or Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, but it was one of the two. It was a Guy Ritchie film, and it was it was about 20 years ago now. So and she came into my room and she said, "Amy, you're gonna have to go in and sit with your dad. He's having a heart attack. I'm going to go downstairs and phone an ambulance." Now, the difference between me and my mum is, in situations like this, she is cool as a cucumber. She goes into what she needs to do and she does it. I'm a lot more like that now, but back then I wasn't. And what I did know is that my dad couldn't see me terrified, but that is exactly what I was. So it was really, really difficult for me. So going in and seeing him in pain, and he was in so much pain, like so much pain. And to see your dad, especially when you're still quite a young, kind of discovering yourself kind of age, where you think your dad's kind of invincible, it was really it was hard to see. And at that age, I got a glimpse into how fragile life can be, and how thankfully my dad is still with us today, but how fragile life can be, and how things can change just like that if you don't take care of yourself. And unfortunately, my dad's lifestyle wasn't too great. So it was kind of from that point on, really. I then studied in fitness because that was just a natural transition for me. I knew I kind of wanted to make him better, but he's quite a stubborn man. So it was a little bit tricky, definitely. So I did some, qualifications in fitness to start off with, became a personal trainer, and then wanted to know more. So then moved into nutrition, did a couple of diplomas in nutrition, and then my degree in Nutritional Science. And I started off with weight management, diabetes, and cardiovascular health. So that's where I started. And with the hope that if I learned enough, my dad would listen to me, which he has not. Not one single word. However, lots of other people have, so that's good. And my transition into gut health was a number of years ago when one of my really good friends was poorly with ulcerative colitis and fibromyalgia. She wasn't getting anywhere. She was on medication. She was chronically fatigued. She couldn't get to work. And she wasn't really sort of like making the progress in her health with down the medical route that she would like. So I sort of said, okay, let's take a look into this then. So I kind of switched focus for a little while and concentrated on gut health. long story short, she's off her medication and she's now starting her own business. She is feeling a lot better. Is she perfect? No, she's not perfect, but we got her a good 80% of the way, so that she can now live her life as a normal kind of person, as opposed to being, you wake up in the morning so chronically fatigued that you're in bits, because that's the best you're going to feel all day, and it's only going to get worse. She was in chronic pain with her digestion. It was under control. It wasn't under control completely, so she was a slave to the toilet. She had joint pain, brain fog, depression, all that kind of stuff, and now she is killing it. So yeah, that's kind of my story in a probably a little bit longer nutshell than I was planning. But yeah, that's kind of how I came about to being a gut health nutritionist and dietitian.
Thank you, Amy. I mean, I have chills as you're sharing these stories, just finding your dad in that situation and with your friend. And I believe, I'm sure there are so many people out there being ill, not feeling well, and being in a situation like the doctors, they don't know. It's from doctor to doctor, medication to medication, and it's not improving necessarily. And so tell me, because what they say, right, that the guts is the second, if not third, brain, really, right? And it's a connection, the brain and the gut. So what actually healthy gut, what does that look like? Well, when you have healthy gut, how can we assess that? Am I good? Am I not good? Should I really do something with it?
Yeah, so it's actually quite hard. Excuse me. It's actually quite hard for quite a lot of people, because living in a modern day society where everything is convenient, everything is really, really fast, life's very, very busy. You've got a global pandemic at the moment. You've got so much going on that, and your state of health and your digestive health is massively impacted by obviously the food that you eat and the environmental factors such as pollution and stress in your life, how your relationships are, how much sleep you're getting, all of that kind of stuff. And because we're brought up in this kind of fast-paced society, we are always quite commonly in a digestive situation whereby we're under slight duress. But the fact is like, the problem is we've been that way for such a long time. A healthy reference point is so far back that chances are you're not even going to remember it. And some kind of level of dysbiosis within your gut is when things become out of balance, is actually your normal. So you think everything's good. So you think everything's good. So how can people tell if they're healthy? Okay, so if you're going to the toilet, and I mean going for a poop, like a good healthy poop, easy to pass, a couple of times a day, that's a good indicator. If you're not chronically fatigued, if your stress is under control, if you are not experiencing bloating is generally a really good key. If you don't suffer from things like heartburn or painful irregular bowels or constipation, then you are likely in a better place. But really, it's kind of hard to tell whether your gut is exactly where it needs to be. And there are some ways of doing that. There are resetting it organically, whereby we can do some kind of like allergen removal, and then just basically kind of get rid of everything that causes a problem, pump your system full of all the stuff that it kind of likes, and see if we can kind of wake it up that way. A lot of people experience then like mental clarity that they've never had, because it's the first time their system's actually clean. Or what we can actually do as well, we can do various tests on your digestive tract using laboratories. I don't do those, I refer, but I work with a laboratory and the results to then look at what's going on from a biochemical standpoint with my clients, and then we can kind of take it from there. So yeah, a couple of ways.
Yeah, quite a few ways. Thank you. So what do you feel is the kind of can I say like biggest issue, let's say, if it's like, okay, I get to start, I want to look at my gut health, where do we even start?
Yeah, so that's a really good point. So I do a number of programs that if you're, for instance, if you're in like quite severe digestive duress, and if you are, you'll know, because it will tell you daily several times, and it'll be hard to ignore. Then there's a protocol I can work people through, but also I do something called the Bloat Bootcamp, which is like a 6-week program, which is absolutely amazing at helping you identify really, really cheap and identifying how you can remove some of the things that aren't so great for your digestion and then actually replace them with some of the things that are. So that's kind of like one way. But when you are, the thing that my clients see the most, I see the most of my clients, that contributory factors are generally things like diet. So I work with like men as well, but predominantly corporate women who have really, really stressful, high-paced jobs that are generally commuting into work. Obviously, the world is how it is at the moment, so perhaps not just right now, but commuting into work, getting kids to school, homeschooling at the moment in some cases, you know, and trying to balance it all. And what actually happens then is you are under, and they've generally got, you know, targets within their job. They've got things that they need to do. They're balancing projects. There's a lot of stress, and that can actually cause. So I just heard something making noise in the background, so apologies for that. And that can cause an inflammation response. So stress is generally the biggest problem, and getting that under control is super useful. On top of that as well, looking at the kind of food that you eat. If you're eating on the fly, which is, you know, if you're eating in a situation whereby you're on the move or you're on the phone and you're constantly doing stuff, when your body is stressed or under stress, your digestive system becomes slightly impaired, and that stems all the way back from when we were cavemen and the flight or fight situation kind of kicks in, where we're trying to get away from something dangerous. What would then happen is hopefully we would, and everything would kind of calm back down. But what happens when we need to get out of a dangerous situation is our body actually thinks to ourselves, okay, so what do I need? So I need to be alert. I need to be able to get oxygen to my blood cells. I need to be able to pump the blood around to my muscles. I need to be able to, you know, have all of the energy to these really essential parts of my body that can get me out of this pretty nasty scrape, and then hopefully I'll be okay. So what don't I need? What can I take energy from? Your digestion is one of the first places it will go. But in an older kind of time, I'm presuming because I wasn't there from what I hear, if we were to get away from the danger, what would happen is everything would return back to normal, okay, and our body would be in a more of a state of homeostasis again. We don't get that in a modern day society. So what most of us are dealing with is generally some level of impaired digestion. And if you are experiencing bloating, fatigue, constipation, irregular bowels, brain fog, depression, lack of motivation, low libido, all these kind of things, could be that it's in your gut.
Yeah, that's so fascinating, because when you look at all of the last things that you just mentioned, I feel like they are just so common way to be and feel. Just like, yeah, I'm just kind of tired today. I don't quite feel like it. Having this brain fog is like, you know, going to every, why did I come here actually? What did I come here for? And I see for myself for a certain period of time, I took that for like the normal, as you said at the beginning, like it was the normal and it didn't even realize. And then until my friend was just like, hey, you've been doing this. I was like, oh, really, have I? And then I could start become conscious, like, okay, why am I forgetting? Why am I feeling like I'm literally having a fog on my brain, in front of me? So this is so fascinating and so important to know. So how does that look like to work with you? Do you work with clients online or in person? And so tell us more about how people maybe can learn from you if they resonate and they just want to reach out for support or have a discussion of actually where are they at.
Yeah, sure. So they can see me on, I've got a Facebook page called the Dietista, unsurprisingly. So you can catch me on there. I do give away some free digestive assessments. My slots for those are a bit limited at the moment because I've had quite a lot of people come through, which is great.
Yes.
So they're a bit limited now. So beforehand I was like, book away, and now I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to open up a few more. But there are those kind of slots there as well. So I do give away a free assessment just to kind of see if we could work together, or if I can help you. Because if I can't, chances are I'm going to know if there have been people that I've turned away, not in a go away kind of way, but like referred on to other people that would suit them better. Because my priority is people getting well, not, and if I'm not the best person to do that, say if they've got other considerations that I don't specialize in, and I know someone that does, I'm going to put them in their direction because they're going to do you the best. So I do work with people one-to-one. I have, and it's all online because my clients are global. So, I mean, I'd love to be in California doing it face-to-face, but unfortunately I'm stuck in rainy London for the foreseeable future. So yeah, face-to-face, one-to-one, group program, and I've got an online program too, if doing things at your speed is more your thing. So kind of if you like full-on support, if you just like a little bit of guidance, or if you like to do it yourself, there's all those kind of ways there
Brilliant.
as well. Yeah, so definitely, I mean, for people that are living in a modern day society, a good check on your gut health at least once a year, especially if you're working quite hard, is definitely the way forward.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Amy. And we are about to end. So is there anything that we haven't covered, or any last message that you would love to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I'm just going to give them a couple of tips that I found really, really useful. So I come from a corporate background. So those of you guys that are, a little bit stressed out with your job, trust me when I tell you, I get it.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. So here's some things that really helped me. So don't check your phone first thing in the morning, even though it's tempting. Even if you know you've got a lot on that day, do not check your phone first thing in the morning. Do something nice for yourself. Spend a little bit of time, do some exercise. I know it's a cliche, you might not be a morning exerciser, but just spend a little bit of time with yourself, read a book, just start your day in a calmer kind of place. Don't switch on your brain and switch on the stress straight away. Don't do that. Give yourself a moment. Make sure you stay super hydrated, because your whole body is 75% water. Every single cell in your body requires it. And if you do have a lot of deadlines, and if you are the type of person that's constantly on the go, staying hydrated is great for your digestion because it helps those stools move through, but also to help you with mental clarity and brain fog and mood. Hydration is super, super important. And the third thing I would say to people in any kind of digestive state is watch how much dairy you consume, because that is the biggest brain fog digestive you could possibly have. So that would be what I would leave people with, those tips.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so much useful. And with the phone, I mean, that's such a game changer. I know literally when I have days, which I try my best to be really consistent, to start the first hour with myself, journaling, and really kind of connect with myself. And if there is a day when I oversleep or whatever, and I'm out of the routine and I go for the phone because I'm expecting some news, so I need to deal with it, I can feel the difference in how the day goes and how I feel. I'm scattered, I'm all over the place, not focused. So this one is a huge one. Literally get out of the phone and emails and messages for the first hour. That's been like life-changing on its own.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So thank you so much, Amy, or the Dietista. Thank you so much for coming to our conversations, and I wish you all the best. Have a beautiful day. And for our listeners, Amy is here for you. Reach out to her, even if it's to ask questions. No questions is a silly or stupid question if you put it this way. Like, it's your health, whatever it is, just ask. That's my invitation to you. Have a beautiful day and speak to you soon.